Welcome to End User Input. I'm your host, Savannah. I've got Sound God Tayson.
Hi.
Resident Techie Justin.
Hey.
And self-proclaimed badass Garrig.
What? Yeah, that
And
happened.
this week we've actually got quite a few big headlines all kind of coming together at once. These last few days have just been crazy. The first one, of course, being this morning, it was announced that Cuba and the U.S. are going to reopen diplomatic relations, which will culminate in a new U.S. embassy in Cuba, as well as, you know, they traded some prisoners back and forth. Some argue that this means that the Castro regime will be strengthened, but overall, you know, most people seem to be pretty positive about it, as far as I can gather.
The internet is most happy about Cuban cigars.
See, that's what I figured people would be most thrilled about.
They're like, we can
Because-
smoke horrible things, yay.
Yeah,
Hey, the
better
best-
unhealth. Woo!
The best of the horrible things.
Yeah.
And you would know?
No.
Well, it's
I'm a
supposedly
lady.
the best.
I don't
What does
smoke
being
cigars.
a lady
No, I'm
have to
just
do
kidding.
with anything?
No, you're absolutely right. It has nothing to do with it.
Like, come on. What are you doing?
Nothing to do with anything. You had a question, Justin?
Well, not a question. I guess it could be. I don't know. I have no idea if it's a question. Okay. I was wondering about, there's a lot of biodiversity in Cuba. I mean, just the number of bird species that live there. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff like that. I'm just curious, has that ever been a barrier to naturalists trying to, people going there to find new species of stuff? I mean, is that going to be easier now? Are we going to see more cool shit in, nature?
Science?
Maybe.
It's going to be easier?
Possibly.
That
Some
would be
pictures.
awesome. I'm going to be honest, most of what I know about Cuba is from a really racist world history class I took in the 8th grade, and also James Bond movies. Oh, yeah, and from that time when that little 6-year-old kid floated over to Florida and they couldn't figure out whether they were going to keep him or send him back. Alien. I remember him. Anyway, so I don't know much about the biodiversity of Cuba.
All right, well, when you said, hey, it's going to be easier to get to and from Cuba because they're not going to be classified as an enemy state or anything anymore, that's what cropped up in my mind. So.
No, that's definitely a valid question to ask. I mean, how cool would it be to do science?
Science in Cuba.
Sorry.
Cuban science!
Another cool thing about the whole embargo with Cuba is because anytime I've ever seen any pictures of look at their cars over there, because they stopped trading. The United States stopped trading with Cuba years and years and years ago. This is for 50 years. Yeah. So to see all these pristine 50s era cars because they had to keep them maintained. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
That's what they had.
And so it's great. But at the same time, I think it would be kind of sad because it's why would you, people getting new stuff would just kind of, I don't know.
Well,
it's sort of like a time capsule.
Their world is radically going to change because it's just going to be all this new stuff, technology everywhere. It'll be cool.
And suddenly everyone had Xbox.
Oh, God, another group of 12-year-olds to ruin the internet.
Yeah, but these ones will be yelling at you in, Spanish?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They speak Spanish
Or
in Cuba?
is it Portuguese?
I'm pretty sure it's Spanish. Because the only...
To the internet.
Yes.
Fact checker, go!
I don't know.
we are
The only
so
South
white.
American place I knew was Brazil, I thought.
Oh, that speaks Portuguese?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure.
They also speak...
Maybe they speak Cuban.
It's their own language.
Very good. Official languages, 1, Spanish. I mean, according to Wikipedia. How much can you trust Wikipedia, Only
A fair bit.
for everything.
Yeah.
To be fair,
spot on.
since the announcement came out this morning, this morning at the time of this recording, maybe people have gone through Wikipedia and fucked with it.
It's interesting. They have the ethnic groups listed, and it says 64.1% white. That just, and then there's mulatto. I've never heard of that one before.
that's like mixed.
Yeah, but that's interesting. It seems like a lot more white people in Cuba than I thought.
Yeah.
Well,
It's not
a
what
lot
you
of them
think
are
of.
descendants of like the Spanish conquistadors.
Yeah. Which
So-
is really cool. Like if you look at people from like Jamaica, like a lot of these people that'll have really really dark skin and they'll have green eyes, and it's just so cool looking.
Yeah.
It really is. It's way cool.
Interesting.
You know.
So yeah.
Anywho.
All right, Cuban cigars for everyone. Hooray!
You can go kill yourself
And
easier
we'll
now.
import a nice classic era car just for you.
Yeah.
It might have hair gel instead of brake fluid, since apparently that's a thing that they do.
Back in the 50s, like everyone had like their hair all greased back, greased.
No, but I mean, like
they just used
since
brake
they-
fluid as hair
Well,
gel.
no, I just heard that they somewhere that since they couldn't import the right kind of brake fluid for a particular model of car, they used the specific kind of hair gel instead, and it works really well
You know, though,
Interesting.
because they don't like make that brake fluid anymore, or something.
it's one of those things. It's like I would be equally unsurprised if it was true or not true. You know, because
Just either way,
I don't know anything
that
about
makes
cars,
sense.
so if somebody could like let me know in the comments, I'd appreciate it.
Yes.
brake fluid
Yay,
is cool stuff
comments.
because
Do you guys
um,
even
be-
get comments?
Oh, shut up.
You know what?
Fuck
That
that,
helps draw
dude.
attention to our obscurity. It hurts our feelings.
It really does.
And like the one person that
was
watches
just
our podcast
asking.
by accident.
You know?
Hey, there's like 6 people.
Oh, excuse me,
This.
6. Oh, 6.
I'm offending so many people
Thank
right
you
now.
for your loyalty.
It's probably
It's
like,
like, oh.
6 random
Oh.
people that are just like, what is this? What is this?
Speaking of which,
thing?
quick plug, go watch Game Tank and Kios. They're great.
Yay.
Kicking it old school.
Please?
So,
Anyway, what were you
yeah.
saying about brake fluid?
Oh, okay. Well, okay, because there's all these temperature ranges that cars have to work properly under. And so you don't want a system filled up with brake fluid, and you don't want the volume of the brake fluid to change very much with temperature. So
Right.
it's just one of the things, and I'm just wondering if hair gel is known for having that property. Don't mind me. Cuba.
Actually, hair gel
Well, I
does
think
not change much based on temperature.
Really?
Yeah.
How do
Well, I
you
mean, like,
know
volumetrically,
that?
I mean, you know.
Because my parents both are hairstylists, and
Oh,
They
I've-
would know that, wouldn't they?
well,
I guess
and it's
they
like
would.
I've run into hair gel that's coming out of a cold car and a hot car, and it's all about the same
Huh.
as far as volumetric
There's a
goes.
little bit of change.
Yeah, but not much.
Yeah.
have you ever seen Frozen hair gel?
Let it go.
really hard to
Let
freeze,
it go.
Shut up.
You know what? Okay.
Anyway.
I didn't see that show until recently, and it first of all it was pretty good. It was a lot better than I thought it was going to be, and so I missed out on like the whole everyone just those songs becoming so popular and everyone becoming sick of them, and I just totally missed out on that. I had no idea what people were talking about. Every single joke just went right over my head.
You are, dude. You are the quintessential example of ignorance and bliss.
Dude, no, it's not bliss. It's like
Homeostasis.
it's like imagine if you took a man from the 1980s and like put him in a time capsule and then thawed him out in 2014. That would be me.
You know, you're the only person that makes sense with, right?
Oh jeez. Anywho, you were saying something before I rudely interrupted, and it was
No, it's fine. I think it's time for our next topic anyway.
You know, because discussion
yeah,
of
Cuba.
politics with Cuba turns into a discussion about how to turn hair gel into usable brake fluid.
Yes.
It's valid.
That was Justin, our resident car guy. New title, the car guy.
The car guy. I don't know. I like
/
Resident
fact checker.
Techie.
Okay. New topic.
What is the next topic?
Okay.
Let's go.
All right. Send comfortable into the spotlight. Okay, so next topic of conversation is arguably the bigger headline of today, which is that Sony has canceled the Christmas Day release of their film The Interview,
Dun dun dun.
which is a comedy centered on a journalist who is hired to assassinate the president of North Korea. Do they have presidents? The
I
dictator?
think it's just guy who rules.
It's dictator.
The leader of North
Yeah.
Korea. But they opted to pull the release in response to both the hacking that's been going on over the last little while and repeated threats that have been sent around saying that if it's released, there'll be a lot of bloodshed and horrible things happening. And so both they and the theaters that were going to carry it agreed that it would be better not to release it.
Well, let's be completely honest. They would have been a little bit better served if they would have done anyone other than Kim Jong-un.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a really funny tweet today, and I forget who. If I remember who, I'll post it. But somebody tweeted, right now Seth Rogen is saying, "Damn, I knew we should have done Castro instead."
I feel like that is something Seth Rogen would say, too.
Probably.
Yeah.
So will this get like a normal release like on the internet or something? I wonder
right
if
now-
that'll happen.
Apparently, it's unclear.
And right now you can pirate it because of the Sony hack.
Yeah,
because
that's true.
But that doesn't seem very fair. Like, now I want to give them my money, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you just had terrible things happen to you. Here, please take all my money.
So will they like? Is this like a forever never gonna show up in theaters thing, or will they like next week
Well,
be
like-
like, hey?
Like I said, I think they're just gonna hold off for a little while until they can figure out what to do with it. Like, they haven't announced either way.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, and they haven't even been advertising it really because I've only seen the trailer once. And I think it was on YouTube. I'm not even sure.
I saw it a lot on YouTube for a while, for like about a month, about last month, yeah. And then it just kind of dimmed down.
Yeah, I only saw it once, and then it just kind of went away.
Yeah.
Well,
So.
I've been seeing it on TV recently,
Yeah.
within like the last 2 weeks. or
Well,
so.
you won't anymore.
Well, yeah, not anymore.
It looked like a pretty funny movie. That's what's sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of looking forward to it.
You know, Okay, so I have two things with this whole shitball of stuff.
Shitball.
One, I don't understand the motivation of these hackers. I don't know enough about, like, did they tell anyone why they
it's
were doing this?
GOP. I forget what that stands for. Yeah. Let me look it up.
Grand Old
GOP
Party?
hacker group.
Oh. Not that GOP.
Yeah, not that.
Well, that's what I kept thinking every time I'd read it. Like, that doesn't make any sense, you know?
Yeah.
What the hell does it stand for? I have no idea what it stands for.
Anyway.
But
Point is,
I lost every train of thought once I googled this.
okay, all right.
Why are they doing it?
Why?
Okay, I think it's just to be kind of dicks, I guess. That's what most
Yeah.
hacking is, right?
I think it kind of went like this. Like, one guy, on the inside, told somebody how bad their security was, and that person had, the little light bulb go, bing!
Well, when you have your
Above their head.
passwords in a folder marked passwords, there's an issue. And now
Yeah,
it's just bad.
I bet you $5 one guy got drunk at the wrong bar on the wrong night, and some hacker dude was like, and the Holy Grail sat in front of him as he drank his bad light beer and stank.
And that's one of the things. Again, have the best automated security, like the best encryption, everything. But the weakest part of any security system is the human beings.
Yeah.
It will always be that way. I mean, social engineering is the actual term for that, but it's...
Maybe it's like in that first couple seasons of Big Bang Theory where he was dating that North Korean spy and she was super hot and super into him. And it's the same situation translates over where it's a Sony exec dating this, this very attractive Asian person. And
Or non-Asian. We'll be inclusive.
well, are there very many non-Asians in North Korea?
Well, I would imagine there's lots of non-Asian hackers, so unless it was North Korean hackers.
Well, my suggestion is that it's North Korea who's been doing this because they don't want the interview to be released.
It's like a state-sponsored effort.
Yes, exactly.
And
and
they just released Fury and all those other movies because
Well, it's sort of a
just
smokescreen.
because, I mean, yeah, A, smokescreen, B, it really cuts into Sony's profits and makes their stock value go way down.
yeah.
So
Actually,
you're trying to sink the studio and prevent your country's good name from being smeared all in one swoop.
now you see, if we were talking about South Koreans, I would have been like, yeah, that makes sense. And if we were talking about any other people, non-North Koreans, I'd be like, it's brilliant. But North Koreans, I'm just kind of like, do they even have people who can do that?
I know absolutely zero about
they have
North
computers?
See,
Korea.
they do it that way on purpose.
And and that would actually make a lot of sense too if it was turned out to be a state-sponsored effort, because that's sort of like what I was thinking. And then because it's like, oh, they don't come out with their motivations as easily. I mean, people
Yeah.
have to speculate that they're doing it for the lulz, and it's just,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Internet
also,
mercenaries, basically.
Well, even if it was a group like that were just doing this just because they happen to get a wild hair and says, we're going to screw with Sony because we don't like them this week.
Yeah.
I just don't like the idea, Sony Pictures, maybe you could say sucks, but Sony hardware is great. I've always liked that. But I've always sort of hated Sony software.
Unless you bought the
it's
PS4 last year.
Well, but see, the interview, I mean, it's not very common to do films about North Korea, at all.
No.
Unless you're talking about that Red Dawn remake.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
even then, that was only made North Korea at the very last second.
Yeah, it was
they had
supposed to be
in.
China, right?
Yeah, it was supposed to be China, and at the very last second, right before they released, they went and switched everything. So there probably just wasn't even time for word to get around.
Yeah. And the reason they switched it to China because they're like, oh wait, we like Chinese money.
Yeah, we probably shouldn't piss them off.
Yeah. Pissing China off is usually a bad idea.
So it's like, don't get in a land war with Russia, don't get into people war with China.
People war with China.
More like a media war, I'd say.
Okay, China has enough people where if they literally used human beings as the projectile weapon itself, if they put people into cannons and launched them, they could destroy all of our defenses.
Oh my god, I don't like this threat.
All right, well, okay. Well, you mentioned that Red Dawn remake, just because you brought that up. I remember someone bringing that home to rent, because we rented it. We're like, hey,
haven't
look what we're
seen
gonna
it,
watch,
so-
and I'm like,
You
shit.
have to.
It's
I
great.
have.
At my parents' house
What?
last Christmas. You were there.
Last Christmas.
Where was I wasn't watching that.
Very next
Yeah.
day.
So,
Give it away.
you have one or no?
Anyway, continue.
I've seen it anyway.
No. I'm just saying. It was very, very good. I mean, for Red Dawn and making a remake of a movie that was pretty good back in the 80s.
Yeah, it's a very serviceable action movie, to say nothing else. It was a little heavy-handed here and there, but if you can kind of remove some of the stuff, it was as an urban someone's attacking the U.S. movie, it did its job.
And what state of the look at the world nowadays, where some people can be legitimately concerned that someone is going to start a nuclear war over a film, a fictional story.
I don't know. Some people
It's
take this
literally
shit
just,
very seriously,
yeah.
I guess.
It's literally just, it's the two people who take fictional shit against the government seriously is North Korea and China.
I don't know.
And it's just
Storytelling means something different in Asia
It's
than
true.
it does in North
Yeah.
America, I think.
yeah, it was an article I read back in the day. I think this was a few months ago, just talking about how in China they couldn't do they can't do haunted houses like they do here because people believe ghosts are a legitimate concern. So having ghosts in a haunted house is super taboo.
It's no.
yeah.
Wow.
So they have to find ways around that.
Oh, yeah, they had to do that for the Haunted Mansion at the Disneyland.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay. I didn't think you said Disney, so
I didn't, but that's because I can't find the words today. But yeah, it's they can still have moving inanimate objects, that's fine. So they can do moving armor plates and shit. But they can't have actual ghosts because it's considered very disrespectful, but also like in their culture, seeing a ghost is like a big deal. Like so even fake ones they have it like they're genuinely afraid of.
So they must have some kind of mechanism in place where they could say, yeah, seeing something move, that's totally okay, because it wasn't a ghost that did that, it was something else that did that.
We'd have to go there and find out.
It's weird because it's like still a spirit realm thing, but not like a real spirit realm thing. It's weird to them.
Also,
as apparently
the guy's title, the leader guy,
Kim Jong-un.
Un. Yes, Un, is that?
Un, yeah.
Okay, the supreme leader of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea.
Leader.
Yes.
I feel like they're using the word democratic really loosely. And republic. And people, for that matter.
You realize now that we've talked shit about Kim Jong-un in North Korea.
We didn't talk shit about him. I didn't say anything.
I said nothing. Me and Justin are in the clear.
We said nothing of the sort.
So if we stop producing content in the following months, we got bombed.
Please, somebody phone Interpol.
Yes.
Or the CIA.
They wouldn't waste a bomb on us. They'd just send an assassin.
Exactly.
I feel like that actually might be more expensive.
The thing is, if they're sending assassins after us, they really need to reevaluate their priorities.
Maybe they've already got sleeper agents in the area.
Oh, jeez.
Well, we are right next to a university.
Oh no.
Anyway. Speaking of thinly veiled threats, Hatred. It's a game we've already talked about once or twice.
Or 4 times.
4 times, really?
No, I have no
No,
idea.
I have no idea.
I've talked
honestly
about it a
have
lot.
stopped caring.
Yeah,
Right.
no, it's been making headlines because they've been trying to get it greenlit on Steam, but Valve pulled the game from the greenlight program for all of...
It was less than 24 hours.
and
wasn't
Yeah, I
then
was
Gaben
gonna say it was
swooped in and was
only-
like, "No, we release games,
Yeah, I know.
damn it!"
Their creators are, according to the creators, they put the game back up on Greenlight and actually emailed and apologized that it was pulled off in the first place. So, and now it's one of the #1 games, and the commenters are, of course, calling for DLC that involves killing analogs of real people.
Because that's what everyone needs is to watch real people analogs be murdered.
So
To actually actively murder them.
Okay, but think of how you would feel if you could get, like, an analog of, say, I don't know, Justin Bieber, and just mow down hundreds of them.
Oh,
I
I don't
think that
want to do
exists
that.
on the internet already.
Yeah. Well, it's like one thing to put a picture on a dummy, but it's like a complete other to have a 3-dimensional recreation of a person running away screaming as you shoot at them.
So what level of detail is enough to make you squeamish?
The level of detail and hatred makes me squeamish just anyway, just the way the killings happen.
Okay.
So just like that alone, and then if I were to, for whatever reason, feel like, and this is just me, this is totally subjective, just to put it out there. Like, so if I were to start seeing analogs of actual existing people in that go through something that's making me squeamish anyway, like, it would almost, to me, be like watching the murder itself, and, like, happen. Just the way that game conducts itself is just on that side of too brutal for me, which is saying something because I like fucking Cannibal Corpse.
And like
I don't know.
hobo with a shotgun and shit like that.
Yeah,
That shit's
stuff
intense.
it's not quite ridiculous enough for me to make that full mental
Yeah.
detachment.
Well, that's
So-
the thing is everybody's comparing it to like Postal and there's what is it, Manhunt?
Postal's great.
Yeah, but Postal's
Yeah,
funny though
Manhunt,
because it's like you
Postal,
stick a
and-
cat on your gun as a silencer. Like, who does that? And well,
It's almost like it's just not over the top enough to point out its own absurdity.
Yeah.
It's too on the nose. It's too taking itself seriously.
Yeah, like, it's kind of similar to, there's a movie, it's a U-Ball film, actually, called Rampage, where it's like a day in the life of a person who commits a shooting like that. And, like, I've just seen the trailer, and everything I've heard says it's a pretty decent movie. But, like, I can't bring myself to watch it. Not that
It's like the human centipede.
it has, like, every right to exist, but it's like, I can't, like, the thought of, like actual people being just mowed down in a realistic fashion is hard for me.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. It's, if it comes to a free speech issue, sure, you can make this game and you can try and publish it on whatever platform you want. If it hadn't been making so many headlines in the first place, I kind of feel like this game would have just come out and everybody would have,
kind of just been like,
it.
whatever.
And just been like, whatever, I'm not going to play this, and then it wouldn't have made any money, and
Kind of like the JFK shooter one.
yeah, and it would have just faded into obscurity. But because of the whole Gamergate thing, picking it up, and, media outlets picking it up and running with it and saying, well, look at this horrible thing.
Which is exactly what the publisher wanted. Or not the publisher, the dev team wanted.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So
We have also yet to see full gameplay yet, so who knows?
Yeah, only the demos.
well, and any time you can get any topic, if you can create severe polarization around that, well, through public opinion,
Yeah.
it's going to make it last longer in the eyes of the public.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess the central issue now, because we've talked at length about, is it necessarily, should they be allowed to do this kind of thing? What kind of people would do this?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Right now, I guess the central issue is Valve removes it, and then they unremove it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, what do you think about that?
Like,
It shows a lack of consistency, that's for sure.
yeah.
Well,
'Cause
Go ahead, Garrick.
I kind of feel like the teams that were, monitoring it basically kind of made a rash decision because it was only up for like 15 hours, something like that. Like, it wasn't up for long before it got taken down. And then Gaben came in, our savior. He basically was like, we got to release it. We are a company that is there for people to make games and to release their games. So they at least give them a chance, basically. That was his standpoint, which I'm sure probably means just funnel more money through my stuff. But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my beloved Jim Sterling brought up a good point in a video I watched earlier today, in that Valve has the right to do whatever they want. Yeah, this isn't censorship because it's not enabling them to release the game just on one platform. But like, it does definitely show a lack of consistency. First of all, in taking it down, and again, this is Jim Sterling's opinion that I happen to agree with. Like, taking it down is fine, but they have a lot of worse games that are worse on a, like, people shouldn't have, like, these games, like, there's a lot of games that are so poorly created
yeah.
on Steam right now that you can buy for like $5 or whatever, that will either never be finished or will just never end up being any good because of early access or this, that, or the other.
Which,
that are just terrible abominations that, like, you shouldn't even need to spend the time downloading, let alone pay for. But they're not taking any of those off either.
yeah.
So it's just so I'm not really for hatred as a thing at all, but if they're going to take hatred down, they have to take all those other ones down, and since that's never going to happen, I feel like hatred has the right to be up.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know that it's necessarily fair to compare badly made games with games that are, for all intents and purposes, look like they're going to be pretty decently made, but whose subject matter is pretty questionable.
True, but then you get into the whole art thing.
I don't know. Either way, I think it's safe to say we're all kind of agreed that you perfectly have the right to publish a game like this. It's just, we're not going to play it because it sounds awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you got into sort of like, what's the criteria for rejection or something? If we can reject it on what some people consider bad taste, and then, well, does that bad taste only a moral thing, or can it be in a taste of artistic expression, saying that's not a completed product, it's not a game?
Yeah.
That kind of
yeah.
thing. And then also you talk about there being a lack of consistency, and but when you think about it, any sort, I mean, how many people work at Steam, do you think? Like,
It's a pretty big
Probably
company.
a few thousand.
I mean, stuff gets lost in the cogs and wheels. I mean, it's according to this email that is claimed to have came from the co-founder guy by the creators of Hatred. It seems like someone lower filtered out the game, says, okay, due to the public perception, we're going to axe it. And then he looked at it and says, that wasn't the right decision to make, and he killed it. And I was just thinking about that. It's like the balance between, like, if you put stuff like this out there, that's going to lose you business from people like, moms that won't let their kids buy games from it or something, or it'll be seen as associated with that kind of thing, so they'll lose business to that. But if you start axing games based on arbitrary criteria like this, then does that lack of openness also lose you more all this creative energy input from developers? They'll say, that would be great, but they might axe this game. They might.
And that's kind of like, I personally, like I said, I would really love it if Hatred didn't exist. I would be okay with that. But at the same time, if I were Valve, like if I were to give Valve advice, if they were to ask me today, which I would rather, not having Hatred on their system or not having as many broken games that are basically just taking people's money, I would go for the latter, just because I feel like it's more unfair for them to offer products that aren't really worth paying for than it is for them to offer a problem that is worth paying for someone, and I just disagree with it.
Yeah.
That
So
makes
we
sense.
can hope for a Sunshine and Rainbows mod that makes all the
There
guns
you
shoot
go.
rainbows.
And no one
And all the
actually
people
dies, they just
gun
hug a
bears.
teddy. You know what, we should make that mod. Like, instead of people dying, it makes them happier and they get to hug a teddy bear.
And you get to play as Anita Sarkeesian.
Yeah!
You know how, like, a lot of these, like, I mean, because I've seen a lot of these really, really conservative types that think, like, gay people, it's like a disease or, like, something that you can catch, you know? And I think it'd be funny to take a game like this and make it to where the guy is, like, going around and turning people gay. I think it would really screw with those guys.
Might piss off a few.
Just give him some, like, really pink, like the Portal gun, but all pink and fluffy, like the gay Ray or something.
The gay Ray. Oh Lord.
I think it'd be fun just to screw with those type of people that. And anyway, so
That's true, because it seems like this kind of ultra violent, anti-SJW, whatever the hell that means.
Social justice warrior.
I know what it means. It's just like that kind of mentality where you're against.
Well, what it means is you don't agree with me, therefore.
Okay, well, anyway, that kind of mentality does tend to go hand in hand with anti-Semitism and homophobia and anti-Islam and
Anti anything that I don't agree with.
Yeah.
much like that evolutionary instinct that says, oh, something different. I have to be real careful and scared of this because it might kill me. It's like that instinct has been magnified in these people.
Yeah.
To where anything new or different or, it's just...
Which is really weird, because evolutionarily speaking, like, that's a good trait to have, but human race would not be anywhere near where it currently is if we hadn't had a whole lot of sections of our species be able to completely ignore it sometimes.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it's just like, it's always just a random chaotic process. There's never going to be 100% agreement.
Chaos theory.
Yeah, fuck. I just need to be dressed in all, like, black leather. You
just
know,
need to
start
be-
talking, like...
You just need to be Jeff Goldblum, is what you need.
And stutter a lot, life finds a way.
And we found our way back to Jurassic Park.
Of course we did.
Wow.
But that is not what we're... are we done with this one? Do we want to...
Yeah, let's just leave it at that. I
Okay.
think a lot of people have a lot of things to say about Hatred.
I still
and
want
it's,
this Sunshine and Rainbows mod. I will buy it for that.
Wait, is that...
You know
I
what?
wanna give
We should just
money to
create
them,
that game.
though.
Like,
Yeah,
screw,
oh, yeah,
Sunshine
yeah.
and
screw making a
Rainbow.
mod. Like, just make our own game. That is, we'll call it the Huggening,
The hugging.
The hugging.
and it'll just be a teddy bear gun.
We'll call it Joyness
Yeah.
or something.
with a name like the
Or
Huggening...
Gatred.
Gatred.
Yeah, go with your gay ray idea. Make everyone super happy. Woo.
That'll be mode 2 that you unlock by making everyone super happy with the fluffy teddy bears.
Well, speaking of shit that happens,
Very good.
good segue. Cards Against Humanity sold people bullshit, literally.
Which is
It literally is bullshit. It
amazing.
even has all the grains and shit in it. I saw a video.
It's just
Ew.
amazing because it's like
T-
it's literally like
It's-
all
Talk
of
about
this Black Friday bullshit is literal bullshit. Buy my bullshit, take it, yes, and then people bought it, and it was
Yeah.
wonderful. Like
Yeah,
Oh my
it was.
God.
It was $6. Had a cute little cartoon poop on the box. It came in like the official Cards Against Humanity looking box, and it was literally a chunk of dried bullshit.
Not just any bullshit. Pasteurized. Bullshit.
Pasteurized
Whoa.
bullshit.
Yes, bought from a specific shit.
So as in you don't need to like wash your hands every time you handle it.
Well, I mean, would
You
you
would anyway,
If they
but-
told you this pile of shit is completely hypoallergenic and sanitary, you could eat this. Would you really eat it?
It depends. How long has it been since I've eaten something? 6 years?
You gotta
Sure.
be real damn hungry to eat cow shit.
I hear it burns really well.
Gee, yes, actually. Cow chips.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it's like what basically they charge $6 for easy fire starter for survival kits.
There you go.
I think it's amazing.
You know,
Or arson. Well, as the
I was kind of like I was thinking as like sort of a protest to the Black Friday.
bullshit.
Bullshit.
Well, I want to use a better word than bullshit.
But bullshit is so
It's so expressive, I know, but
well. It's so expressive. It's so apropos. It's
okay. So when
Culturally expressive.
I'm thinking of selling something for Black Friday as a protest against Black Friday, like the concept, it just didn't seem to work well with me. But then, I mean, I read a little bit later, and they actually donated the profits, which came out to about 20 cents a box.
yeah.
You can sell shit for a 20-cent profit, apparently.
Yeah.
To a, I can't say the name of this charity, but they, ending poverty and hunger by providing livestock to communities.
Yeah.
So that actually fits
Which
well with
charity
the shit.
is it?
Right there.
Oh. Heifer International?
Is that how you say it? Heifer?
Yeah.
Isn't that like-
that is a male adolescent cow, or is it a female adolescent cow?
I think it's a female.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
female. Okay.
Anyway.
they
yeah, it's
sold
just
bullshit
Heifer
for
International.
charity. That's what we're getting at.
Yep.
Well, yeah, it's kind of an interesting concept because they're saying for Black Friday, buy the one thing that literally nobody wants,
Yeah.
except for people who really desperately need to start a fire, I guess.
Apparently. Well, and like it still counts as a protest because they didn't offer any sales, like because it's the big sales
Yeah.
and the trampling people are protesting. So they didn't offer a sale. Nothing was off. They offered a new product for $6. Well, new. I would call it a used product.
It's a
by
new
that point,
product.
Oh, God.
And I can't believe people are marking this up. I mean, at least on this story, they claim some dude has it marked up to $36. Not that anyone spent $36 on it, but
Buy authentic
eBay.
bullshit.
some enterprising individual.
I'm not gonna lie. The collector in me is like, I want to get one.
I want some
I
bullshit.
I would never. Yeah, I would never actually buy one.
This is
But
amazing. I want to buy
Well,
all
yeah,
the
because at that
bullshit.
point, you're just giving money to somebody else. It's not even going to charity anymore.
Yeah.
So
No, it's like I wish I would have heard about this prior. Is kind of what I'm saying, so that I could get my own little box of like. I would have been weary enough that I wouldn't have opened it. Like I would just be in that shrink wrapped box still, saying I bought one.
I feel like you wouldn't have to open it though, because if you're expecting cards and you shake the box and something rattles around inside, isn't that kind of a clue?
Well,
That maybe.
when he told me they had, they were selling shit in a box, I mean, the thing that came to my mind was like properly fitted and
like-
cut shit.
Nice little styrofoam.
It's all snug in there with
It
like
actually
packing.
is. It had styrofoam packing.
Oh my god.
This is amazing.
Oh wow. And it's just like, can you imagine being like the life of like whatever that styrofoam peanut? It's like you get made, you get sent there, and you sit in a warehouse, and they're like, "Yay, I'm gonna pack something," and then they
Dude, it wasn't even a
Not-
peanut. It was like gun crate, like super nice foam. It was
man.
awesome.
I'm
Wow.
gonna cradle a gun or a TV one day. Wait, no, shit?
Oh, shit.
Why? My life
it's
has
interesting,
been
like-
ruined. This is bullshit.
It's a good thing it's not really alive.
Literally,
Oh man,
Oh god.
the cake is alive.
a day in the life of a foam block.
So
That would be a fun movie. We should make that movie.
Oh, boy.
Just continue. Go on.
has there
we'll make
been
it
anyone
Kickstarter.
else doing like anti Black Friday stuff that you've heard of? Because I mean,
Other than being closed on Thanksgiving? Not really. But although I think we had pretty decent sized conversation the last time we
Oh,
talked about
yeah.
Black Friday.
Well, but Black Friday sales, it's like, they were huge because they're always huge. But normally, it puts companies in the black, quote unquote, and it still did. But the profit margins was so much less than anyone thought would come from that day of actual in-store shopping. So it's like a lot of people stayed home in their PJs, like I did.
Yeah. And we
It's
were
lovely.
all like, ice cream and bullshit.
Well, should we move on to science?
Science.
we can talk about science. I mean,
Bill. No.
Bill, no, the science guy.
okay.
I like science.
Bill.
So, let's start off with SpaceX. They are attempting to land a rocket so that they can reuse it.
Justin, what?
Okay,
Explain.
because I'm the science person. Okay.
Justin the science guy.
Explain like you would a child.
December 19th. It's happening. Go.
Friday. So okay.
Explain like I am 5.
Or I guess it will
I
have
was
already
quoting
happened
Galaxy
by
Quest.
the time you're
I
watching
was
this.
quoting Reddit.
Sure.
Wait. That the whole explain something to someone like simply like 5-year-old level. I mean, didn't that originally come from an Einstein quote?
Yes, but there's a whole there's a
Yeah,
subreddit.
there's a
about
subreddit
it.
for it.
Oh, really? Cool. I must visit that. Anywho, back to what we're talking about. SpaceX is trying to land the first stage of their Falcon 9 rocket on a anchored platform in the ocean.
Shut up,
So they're
phone.
going to do this on Friday. And
Snake? Sorry.
yeah.
That's it.
Okay. So what they've already done, back I think in July 22nd, I think they had a test flight of the Falcon 9 rocket. And what they did is they tested all the stuff, the retro rockets and maneuvering thrusters and the landing gear, and pretty much landed it a couple feet above the ocean, and just made sure that they could get all those systems working. And then they just used those rockets to tip it over on its side and toss it in the ocean for regular pickup and retrieval.
Yeah.
So the fact that they've already got that already figured out, I think it should go off without a hitch. I mean, the only thing that I find interesting about this is why landing it on the ocean, on a platform in the ocean, is such a good idea. Besides the, if anything goes wrong, there's no collateral damage. There's really,
Yeah.
I'm really curious because I mean, I'm not the smartest guy in the world, and these guys are pretty sharp. So what are they seeing that I'm not?
Like, I think literally it's because, like, and as we've seen from tests of rockets similar to this, if they fall over, they explode. So,
It's putting it lightly.
yes.
It's a bit of an issue.
So if they land it in the ocean this way, it doesn't explode because it's got a relatively large amount of cushion that way, the way they've designed them. They're supposed to fall in the ocean. So it's basically, it's like they're testing to make sure they can retrieve it, but also if anything goes wrong, they can still retrieve it. Does that make sense?
I guess it's just it depends on like because these rockets usually use I think they use liquid oxidizers.
Yeah.
There's liquid fuel, and so landing in the ocean that wouldn't stop the chemical reaction. And I mean, if there was a problem
Yeah.
with that, it would still.
Oh yeah, well it's like normally speaking, like what the reason they explode when they hit is because the initial impact ruptures the tanks, and so it rapidly oxidizes.
But wait a minute. How much fuel do you actually need to land is the thing.
That's what I keep thinking.
Yeah.
I
Because-
don't know.
They're landing it after it's coming back. So it's already gone up into space. Like it's there. So theoretically, you don't really need a whole lot of fuel to come back down, right?
No,
So
because
there's not a whole lot of reaction to
Well,
happen.
but it also has to slow down to the point where it has to slow down more than the atmosphere will just naturally slow it down to, in order for this to work.
And Tayson, you were the first guy that kind of got me thinking about this months back, and I was just wondering, did you know if they put any sort of air braking on there, or is it just like retro rockets?
I want to say they want it to be just retro rockets.
Okay, because that would definitely require more fuel.
Yeah.
But like you said, because all the fuel for the original launch is gone, the payload's gone, so it is a lot lighter.
Yeah.
But,
Well, it's one of those things where it's like they basically to land it, they basically have to equal out the amount of force they're coming down with, so that it slowly comes to zero force due to gravity. And I figure that takes a lot of energy to do when, like, even with, atmospheric drag, you can still be going, especially if it's designed aerodynamically at all, at like hundreds of miles an hour.
yeah.
So it's just like, I feel like, just an air braking system wouldn't be enough to slow it down enough so that you could do a late retro rocket. I feel like it would have to be a pretty consistent on system.
Yeah, because what they could do is when it first starts to enter the atmosphere again, they could just have those start firing all the way down.
Yeah.
Because you come back into the atmosphere from orbit, you're going pretty fast, like 17,500 miles per hour or something.
Something huge.
Or is that?
Well, it's like just dropping sends a human into what? How fast did that one guy go?
800 miles an hour? 700?
Yeah, like a human's mass was going 800. So.
Well, and that's true because the terminal velocity at higher altitudes, due to the lower air pressure, is
exactly
substantially faster.
So.
I'm curious if they're going to, once they get this worked out, if they could start deploying this technology for regular launch pads, land-based ones.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be...
I think that's kind of the plan. It's like, test it on water where we can make sure that if anything goes wrong, we should still be able to recover a decent chunk of this. And then move it to land where... and I think the other thing is like a lot of the stuff we've seen for this has been they take off, go a couple hundred feet in the air, land back down. And that's from land. And so this is one of the big first trials of trying to do something similar from orbit. So I think it's all about, we just want to take as many precautions as humanly possible and then move it to somewhere where there could be theoretically larger amounts of collateral damage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Science.
Sorry.
Rockets.
Science! Well, okay. Good luck to those guys. And if you're watching this on YouTube, that means the test will have already happened. And so either you're laughing your ass off because it went horribly, or you're laughing your ass off because it went really well.
And we were wrong about everything.
Always wrong.
Yeah, always wrong.
It's a thing.
And I think that about wraps it up for us this week.
Does it
We're
Yes.
doing a little shorter this week because we're testing a couple of technical stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, so thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a like if you were thoroughly entertained.
Or even if you're only a little if you kind of smirked once, please like us.
Works. Yeah. See you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Your moo was better.
Thanks for listening to this week's End User Input Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and favorite, and leave a comment below. Feel free to follow us on Twitter at the links provided below. Also follow the links to relevant content. See you next week!